Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the recess meeting of Will County Board for May 16, 2013. We will call this meeting to order. If everyone would please stand and remain standing, County Board Member Margot McDermott will lead us in the pledge this morning and then introduce our clergy.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. It is my honor and privilege to introduce the newly appointed City of Joliet Police Chaplain, Reverend Lazarick Hudson. He has been a minister for 28 years, recently retired as a DuPage County Sheriff's Deputy, and is a veteran Marine from the Persian Gulf War. Welcome, Reverend Hudson.
Good morning, everyone. Let us bow our heads for prayer. Dear Lord, we thank you for this wonderful day which you've made for us. We ask that you oversee this meeting with your presence by granting each board member the wisdom to govern in the interest of the people they serve, the sense of the welfare and true needs of our people, a keen thirst for justice and righteousness, the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement. Grant them personal peace in their lives and joy in their service. We also ask that you will watch over all of the employees and residents of Will County. Please protect and bless us in our daily activities, so that you will have pleasure in your people. Father, all these things we ask in your name. Amen.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Sure. Zagrozi? Here. Mustis? Howard? Here. Ogala? Izzo? Here. Moran? Bryce? Here. Harris? Here. Trainier? Here. Bible? Here. Goodson? Here. Freitag? Here. Gould? Here. Balich? Here. Vizalone? Here. Winfrey? Here. Adamick? Here. Babich? Here. Wilhelmy? Here. Hart? Here. Mayor? McDermott? Here. Weigel? Here. Collins? Here. Ferry? Here. And Brooks? Here.
24 board members in attendance, 2 absent.
Thank you.
24 members present. A quorum is established. Entertain a motion to place on file the certificate of publication. Moved by Mr. Babich, second by Mr. Wilhelmy. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Sure. Zagrozi? Yes. Mustis? Yes. Howard? Yes. Izzo? Yes. Rice? Yes. Harris? Yes. Trainier? Yes. Bible? Yes. Goodson? Yes. Freitag? Yes. Gould? Yes. Balich? Yes. Vizalone? Yes. Winfrey? Yes. Adamick? Yes. Babich? Yes. Wilhelmy? Yes. Hart? Yes. Mayor? Yes. McDermott? Yes. Weigel? Yes. Collins? Yes. Ferry? Yes. And Brooks. Thank you.
24 affirmative.
24 affirmative. Motion is carried. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the April 18, 2013 County Board meeting. Moved by Mr. Wilhelmy, second by Ms. Winfrey. Any questions? Previous roll call by Mr. Ferry, second by Mr. Bible. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried. Madam Clerk, would you please acknowledge our elected officials and the media that is present this morning?
Sure. Auditor Duffy Blackburn, Circuit Clerk Pam McGuire, County Clerk Nancy Schultz-Foods, our County Executive Larry Walsh, Recorder of Deeds Karen Stuckel, Sheriff Paul Kopis. Media, we have Chicago Tribune Alice Fabry, Farmers Weekly Review and Bugle Nick Ryer, Herald News Cindy Kane, And WJOL, we have Monica DeSantis. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Citizens to be heard. We do have citizens signed up at the appropriate time to be heard. Moving on to honorary resolutions. If Mr. Tom Weigel will please come forward and make a presentation declaring May as Historic Preservation Month. Virginia Ferry was going to be here. Somebody.
Eileen is going to accept on her behalf.
Eileen? Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, come on down.
Morning. Morning, everyone. We have a proclamation recognizing National Historic Preservation Month. Whereas historic preservation is an effective tool in managing growth and sustainable development, revitalizing neighborhoods, fostering local pride, and maintaining community character while enhancing livability. And whereas historic preservation is relevant for the communities across the nation, both urban and rural, and for Americans of all ages, all walks of life, and all ethnic backgrounds. And whereas it is important to celebrate the role of history in our lives and the contributions made by dedicated individuals in helping preserve the tangible aspects of the heritage that has shaped us as people. And whereas See, Save, and Celebrate is the theme of the National Preservation Month for 2013, co-sponsored by the Will County Historic Preservation Commission and the National Trust for Historic Preservation. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Will County Executive and the Will County Board do proclaim May as the National Historic Preservation Month and call upon the people of Will County to join with their fellow citizens across the United States in recognizing and participating in these special observances. Thank you. And I so move.
Moved, second by Mr. Gould. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried. Eileen?
Thank you.
You want to say a few words? Definitely.
Thank you. Virginia Ferry, the chairwoman of the Historic Preservation Commission, wasn't able to be here today, but she wanted me to thank you for this proclamation. For the new members of the board, the Historic Preservation Commission celebrated its 20-year anniversary last year. Over the past 20 years, they have designated 45 landmarks and surveyed 18 of our 24 townships. And Virginia wanted me to extend an invitation to all of you to attend one of our Historic Preservation Commission meetings. Typically, we meet the first Wednesday of the month at the Forest Preserve offices on Laraway Road. With the exception of July of this year, I believe it will be the first Wednesday in the evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If County Board Member Reagan Freitag would please come forward. Proclamation recognizing a state champion.
Thank you, Mr. Executive. Good morning, everyone. This is a proclamation honoring Wilmington High School student Andy Rodewald, Class 1A State Wrestling Championship. Whereas it is the intent of the Will County Board and the Will County Executive to recognize outstanding achievements of individuals and organizations in Will County. And whereas Wilmington senior Andy Rodewald won the 132-pound Class 1A state championship with a score of 5-3 in a sudden death overtime decision over J.J. Wolf from Dakota on February 16th, 2013 in Champaign, Illinois. And whereas Andy Rodewald is the 13th Wildcat to win an individual state championship, setting records for career pins, 96, and career team points, 820. And whereas Andy Rodewald finished with the nearly error-free senior season, 48-2, with 28 pins, 112 takedowns, winning titles at regional, sectional meets, and several regular season tournaments. And whereas Andy Rodewald ends his high school career as a 4-time state qualifier, including 3rd and 2nd place finishes in 2011 and 2012 respectively. And whereas Andy has received the title as the Daily Journal's 2013 High School Wrestler of the Year. And whereas this accomplishment can be attributed to the commitment of coaches Rob Murphy and Eddie Van Dyne's staff and determination and hard work of Andy Rodewald. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive hereby honor Wilmington High School student Andy Rodewald for his Class 1A State Wrestling Championship. Be it further resolved that head coach Murphy, Coach Van Dyne, staff, and Andy Rodewald are commended for this distinguished honor. Congratulations, Andy. So moved.
Moved by Reagan, second by Ms. Goodson. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Contrary. Andy, congratulations, young man. Say a few words. You don't want to say, huh? Thank you very much, Andy. What a great honor. We've been blessed here in Will County with many, many athletes that receive statewide recognition and honor. So, Andy, one of the best. Next, we'll have County Board Member Joe Babbage will present a proclamation recognizing Brody Alexander Fay of achieving the rank of Eagle Scout. Brody's here. Come on down.
Will the parents of Brody come on down too? We'll have somebody take a picture. You don't have to say a few words, dear. What's mother's first name? Diane. Diane, okay. You're welcome. Okay, today we got a proclamation honoring Brody Alexander Fay on becoming an Eagle Scout, which is the highest I believe you can get in scouting. Whereas Brody Alexander Fay, a senior at Joliet Catholic Academy, is a member of the Boy Scout Troop 256 Rainbow Council. And whereas Brody is 18 years old and has been active in scouting since joining as a Tiger Scout in 2001. He earned his Arrow of Light, the highest award in Cub Scouts, in 2006. And whereas he has truly established himself as an outstanding scout, having earned 43 merit badges. His Parvelli Day, Ad Altari Day, Pope Pius XII, and the Light of Christ religious medals. And whereas Brody has also displayed his leadership abilities through numerous troop positions, including Den Chief, Patrol Leader, Senior Patrol Leader, and Junior Assistant Scoutmaster, as well as becoming a member of the Order of the Arrow. And whereas Brody participated as a patrol leader in the 2010 National Boy Scout Jamboree held at Fort A.P. Hill in Virginia, which was the 100th anniversary of the organization's founding. And whereas, outside of Scouts, Brody's in the National Honor Society and was a member of the varsity football team and will be attending Lewis University this fall. And whereas, for his Eagle Scout project, Brody organized and oversaw a group of volunteers to help remove over 50 enclosures that consisted of 12 10-foot wood posts and heavy netting around them. These enclosures keep deer away from trees in an area that was trying to be reforested in Marshall Marsh, Messenger Marsh, Homer Glen in Illinois, and whereas his project exceeded 148 hours of work, and whereas through much hard work and dedication, Brody Alexander Fay has soared to distinguish of Eagle Scout. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Will County Board and the Will County Executive hereby congratulate Brody Alexander Fay on his achievement of Eagle Scout rank. Be it further resolved that the Court of Honor for Eagle Scout Brody Alexander Fay was held on Sunday, May the 5th, 2013, at the William B. Arenik Intermediate School, Plainfield, Illinois. Dated the 16th day of May, 2013. I so move. Congratulations.
Moved by Mr. Babbage, second by Ms. Hart. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried. Congratulations.
I'd like to thank the board for this honor, and it's been a very fun journey becoming an Eagle Scout. Thank you again.
Next on our agenda, public comment. Mr. Brooks.
Good morning, Mr. Executive. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for public comment to allow Dave Del Rose of the Ashland Union to come and address the board for just a few moments.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Grosky. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried. Mr. Del Rose.
Good morning. Thank you, Speaker Brooks, County Executive Larry Walsh, for giving me this opportunity to speak before you this morning. I'm here with many of my coworkers and local union members, and I'd like them to stand right now, please. We're here to send a message today in regards to our collective bargaining. We've been in contract negotiations since October of last year, and we are still moving forward, but not at a pace that we would like to see, and we are still far apart on wages and particularly the health insurance benefits. We understand. We take great pride in being a knowledgeable local, knowing what the situation of the county budget is. Not just this year, but over the past few years. We've acknowledged that with the short-term deals that we've done over the past few years. We've agreed to do voluntary furlough days, voluntary severance plans, in recognition of what the situation is with the county. Now we're discussing a longer-term agreement where we feel that it's time that the county board and the county executive recognize that what we do for the county. And it's our position that it is not appropriate or fair for our employees to be looking at moving forward with a new contract where they're going to have to pay so much more for health insurance that they're going to be taking less money home in their paychecks for the next few years. We have done more with less. That has been what has been sent down from this body to the departments and elected officials. When we do more with less, that means that it's the people who work here at Will County that do more. And if the expectation is that we're supposed to do more, then it shouldn't be an expectation that we should be taking home less. So, on behalf of the members of my local, AFSCME Local 1028, and the employees of Will County, I'd like to submit these signed petitions of we have over 900 signatures, and it reads, whereas the county is a service-driven form of local government, and whereas the employees of Will County provide these services to the residents of Will County, and whereas the employees of Will County are the most valuable assets to the operation of Will County government, we, the undersigned, support the employees of AFSCME Local 1028 and contract negotiations and demand that the County of Will reach a labor agreement that provides fair wages and affordable health insurance benefits for all the employees of Will County. So I will respectfully submit them to you, Mr. County Executive. Thank you again for this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. All resolutions from the April 18, 2013 County Board agenda have been signed by the County Executive. Moving on to new business, our first committee is Land Use and Development Committee. Mr. Tom Weigel, Chairman.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Tom.
First item is the public hearing for land use cases. I make a motion to open the public hearing.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Izzo. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Sure. Zagrozi? Yes. Mustis? Yes. Howard? Yes. Izzo? Yes. Rice? Harris? Yes. Trainier? Yes. Bible? Yes. Goodson? Yes. Freitag? Yes. Gould? Yes. Balich? Yes. Frizzalone? Yes. Winfrey? Yes. Adamick? Yes. Babbage? Yes. Wilhelmy? Yes. Hart? Yes. Mayor? Yes. McDermott? Yes. Weigel?
Yes.
Collins? Yes. Ferry? Yes. And Brooks? Yes. Thank you.
24 affirmative.
24 affirmative. We are in public hearing. Please be advised, absolutely no new evidence or information will be allowed once this land use public hearing is closed. Mark, would you close the back door, please? Thank you. Thank you, Nate. Cases to be heard today, 3 cases: 6102-SV, 6104-S, and 6105-S. We have individuals signed up for to speak. Mr. Daniel Olson, please come forward. State your name and the address for the clerk, please.
My name is Daniel Olson. I reside at 1527 Eunice Avenue. Good morning. I appreciate the opportunity to give me a few minutes just to give an overview. I've been involved with my fellow residents. When we were notified that there's a trucking terminal that's going to be adjacent to our neighborhood. And I just really want to clarify and put everything in perspective. I assume that the entire county board knows what's started, application, zoning, and then the land use committee. At the time that the petitioner filed the application, staff could only do what they could do. There's no separate zoning for a trucking terminal. We're in light industrial. We've coexisted with light industrial for 50 years. A light steel company, well and pump company, a roofing company, and a trucking terminal. There's nothing light about it. The way the petition or the application was filed was that it would be 6 vehicles on average, subject to what on average would mean, on 2 acres. So staff put forth the recommendation for approval, went to the zoning board, and zoning actually sought more of the elephant in the room and put a 6th condition of 15 trucks. If there wouldn't have been that condition, they could have put 50 trucks on there without coming back to the county board, land use, or zoning. So we have 15 trucks. But what I want to point out is that if you look at this objectively and with discernment, and I've talked to staff, I've talked to the petitioner, no business owner is going to acquire 16 acres of land to house 6 trucks or 15. He stated that he has 2 other operations with a total of 50 vehicles. This is light industrial, adjacent to residential, and your action today is going to open up the door that they will be back, and they're going to be asking you for 30 trucks or 40 or 50 or as many as they can fit on 16 acres to meet all of the engineering requirements for drainage and all the other things, which we aren't really aware of because there's no zoning ordinance that we can look at for a trucking terminal. So I would ask on behalf of my neighbors that you do not support this special use for a trucking terminal adjacent to our residential property, or in the very least, table the matter and ask your zoning officials to look into. We live in crossroads of America, and I really was surprised that our county does not have a separate ordinance for a trucking terminal. So I would ask it to be tabled and give it more due consideration on behalf of my fellow residents. Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you very much, Mr. Olson. Next, we have Joseph Hammer.
Joseph Hammer with Rudiger Tonelli and Associates, 2174 Oneida Street, Joliet, acting as agent on behalf of the petitioner. Hear more for questions than anything else. 2 other conditions from the original request were placed on it, on the special use. My client is in agreement with those other conditions, and we received positive votes from our first 2 steps. And other than that, open for questions.
Any questions for this gentleman? Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And the next speaker is Vladis Simkus.
Vlada Shimkus, 3 Glenview Lane, Lamont. I am a petitioner.
Okay.
I'm here too to answer any questions
all
if
right.
you have from committee.
Any questions of the petitioner? Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak on any of these zoning cases? Anyone from the general public wishes to speak on any of these zoning cases today? Anyone from the general public? Mr. Weigel?
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Hart. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Sure. Mr. Grossi?
Mr. Grossi?
Yes. Thank you. Mustis? Yes. Howard? Yes. Izzo? Yes. Rice? Harris? Yes. Trainier? Yes. Bible? Yes. Goodson? Yes. Freitag? Yes. Gould? Yes. Balich? Yes. Frizzalone? Yes. Winfrey? Yes. Adamick? Yes. Babich? Yes. Wilhelmy? Hart? Yes. Mayor? Yes. McDermott? Yes. Weigel?
Yes.
Collins? Yes. Ferry? Yes. And Brooks? Yes. Thank you.
24 affirmative.
24 affirmative. We are out of public hearing. Mr. Weigel, please continue.
Our first case is 6102-SV. This is a special use permit for conversion of a legal non-conforming 2-unit housing unit. This is located on Washington Street in Joliet Township. The committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Adamick. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll call by Mr. Wilhelmy, second by Mr. Bible. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Next case, 6104-S. This is a special use permit for a trucking terminal in Joliet Township on Manhattan Road. This is I-1 property, and we understand that it is a truck maintenance facility. They're not going to be bringing loads in and out. It's just for maintaining trucks and a place to stay overnight. And we did amend the conditions to limit the number of trucks to 15 and the hours of operation from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Saturday. That is the amended conditions. There are 7 conditions. I'd make a motion for approval of the special use permit for the trucking terminal.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Bible. Question, Mr. Brooks.
Mr. Executive, unfortunately, sometime because we have committee meetings going on simultaneously, I wanted to be in land use to learn more about this since it does fall in my district. I did talk with my colleague Denise Winfrey about this, and some very important issues were raised. And even though I was in insurance policy committee that morning, I'd certainly like to do a little more looking into this, for lack of a better term. So I would recommend we send this back, Mr. Weigel, to your committee, because I would like to get a little more information before we pass this along.
Moved by Mr. Brooks to remand back to committee, second by Ms. Grossi. Any questions? Any questions? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Zagrosi? Yes. Mustis? Yes. Howard? Yes. Izzo? Yes. Rice? Yes. Harris? Yes. Trainier? Yes. Bible? Yes. Goodson? Yes. Freitag? Yes. Gould? Yes. Balich? Yes. Frizzalone? Yes. Winfrey? Yes. Adamick? Yes. Babbage? Yes. Wilhelmy? Yes. Hart? Yes. Mayor? Yes. McDermott? Yes. Weigel?
Yes.
Collins? Yes. Ferry? Yes. And Brooks?
Yes.
Thank you.
24 affirmative.
24 affirmative. Motion has been approved to send back to committee. Mr. Weigel.
Next case, 6105-S, is a special use permit for a sports and recreation facility in New Lenox Township with 2 conditions. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Trainier. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Izzo, second, or was that you, Mr. Frizzalone? Okay, second by Mr. Balich. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
That concludes the zoning cases and resolutions. I have Resolution 13111 is the resolution designating the North Island City Memorial Flag Monument as a historic landmark in Wilmington Township. And I'd like to thank Bert Niles for completing this project. He moved the flagpole from the Arsenal property onto this island in Wilmington. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Ms. Freitag. Any questions? Previous roll call by Mr. Gould, second by Ms. Hart. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
Next resolution, 13-112, accepting the planning staff assistance services delivered by Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning. This is a study they will be conducting in Will County to identify suitable brownfield sites that can be used for renewable energy sites in Will County, and it's going to be manned and paid for by CMAP. Committee recommends approval, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Weigel, second by Mr. Ferry. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Babbage, second by Mr. Harris. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
We had one other item on our agenda for land use, and that was the Cool Counties resolution. It was a 3-3 vote, and therefore didn't pass, but I would like to refer it to the executive committee to see if they want to continue that on to the county board or not. Our next meeting is on June 11th at 9:30. Thank you.
Thank you much, Mr. Weigel. Before moving on to our finance committee, I might make an announcement. In our audience today, we are honored to have a special guest, Dr. Deb Daniels, our president of Joliet Junior College, is here with us today, along with our new board member, Barb Adams, newly elected. So, Madam President, thank you very much for attending. Stand up and be recognized. Moving on, Finance Committee, Mr. Wilhelmy, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Executive. Good morning to you and to all my fellow county board members.
Good morning, Steve.
Thank you. I have one report to place on file from the Illinois Department of Revenue showing sales tax remitted to Will County for the month of March 2013 to be $1,215,470, and the RTA tax received at $1,476,074, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Wilhelm, second by Mr. Babbage. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Moving on to resolutions, my first is number 13113, a resolution to abate certain property taxes for Coil Plus, Illinois. This is a manufacturing facility, and I feel that greatly fits the needs of our county, and I would like to move this forward. But also I wanted to make note that we are going to kind of stall any future abatements while we reanalyze this our process. So I so move.
Moved by Mr. Wilhelmy, second by Ms. Trainier. Any questions? Previous roll call by Ms. Winfrey, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Thank you. My next resolution is number 13114, resolution designated Wells Fargo Bank as a county depository, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Wilhelmy, second by Mr. Harris. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Hart, second by Ms. Freitag. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried. Yes. Abstaining. Thank you, Mr. Gould.
Okay, thank you. The next resolution is number 13115, resolution transferring funds within the probation department budget, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Wilhelmy, second by Ms. Rice. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Howard, second by Mr. Ferry. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, Mr. Gould. Yes, thank you very much. Motion is carried.
Thank you. The next resolution is number 13116, resolution increasing appropriations in the Sheriff's Off-Duty Assignment Fund, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Wilhelmy, second by Ms. Winfrey. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Goodson, second by Mr. Gould. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
And finally, my last resolution is number 13117, a resolution increasing appropriations in Sheriff's corporate budget, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Wilhelmy, second by Ms. Segrossi. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Bible, second by Ms. McDermott. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Thank you. And before I complete my report, I just wanted to ask all my fellow county board members and county residents to keep Chris Wilhelmy and his family in their prayers. Chris lost his wife to long-term battle with heart disease this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Announcement of your next meeting.
Did she just lose her?
Steve?
Pardon?
Announcement of your next meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry. My next meeting is scheduled for June 4th at 9:30, and thank you very much, and have a great weekend.
Moving on, Public Works and Transportation Committee, Mr. Adamick, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Executive.
Good morning,
fellow board members. We have a long agenda here today, so fasten your seatbelts. We're going for a ride. All right, Resolution 13118 is a resolution confirming award of contract to Iroquois Paving Corporation in the amount of $545,411.31 for Manhattan Monee Road, County Highway 6 from Center Road to Devonshire Road, and North Peatone Road, County Highway 20 from I-57 to West County Board District, West County Road, County Board Districts 1 and 2, a little tongue-tied today, using the county series A, B, C, or road bond funds, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Addick, second by Mr. Howard. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Trainier, second by Ms. Hart. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Our next case is a resolution confirming award of contract to P.T. Farrell Construction Company in the amount of $67,609.77 for Manhattan Road District, County Board District 2, using the county district's allotment of motor fuel tax funds. I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Izzo. Any questions? Previous roll call by Ms. Zagrosi, second by Ms. Hart. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Resolution 13120 is a resolution confirming an award of contract to Gallagher Asphalt Corporation in the amount of $656,755.88 to the Lennox Road District in County Boards District 7 and 12, using the road district's allotments of motor fuel tax funds, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Frizzlone. Any questions? Previous roll call by Mr. Ballage, second by Mr. Gould. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Resolution 13121 is a resolution confirming award of contract to Grosso Construction in the amount of $100,905.42. It's for the Florence Road District and County Board District 6, using our MFT funds, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Gould. Any questions? Previous roll call by Ms. Freitag, second by Ms. Goodson. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Resolution 13122 is a resolution authorizing approval of an IDAC joint county agreement for making improvements to the intersection of South Briggs, County Highway 54 at Washington Street and North Briggs Street, County Highway 62 at US 6, and I so move. It's in County Board District 8.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Ms. Winfrey. Any questions? Previous roll call by Mr. Ferry, second by Mr. Harris. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Resolution 13123 is a resolution authorizing approval of the expenditures of the county motor fuel tax funds for making improvements to the intersection of South Briggs Street, County Highway 54 at Washington Street and North Briggs Street at US 6 and County Board District 8, using our motor fuel tax funds in the amount of $5,000, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Brooks. Any questions? Previous roll call by Ms. Winfrey, second by Mr. Ballage. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Resolution 13124 is a resolution authorizing approval of an IDOT joint county agreement for making improvements to the intersections of Indiana Avenue, County Highway 24 at Illinois Route 1, Crete Monee Road, County Highway 21 at Illinois Route 1, Laraway Road, County Highway 74, and US Route 45, Brandon Road, County Highway 42, and US 6 Route 6, and 111th Street and County Highway 66, and at Illinois Route 59, and County Board Districts 1, 2, 5, 6, and 11, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Howard. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Rice, second by Ms. Winfrey. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 13125 is a resolution authorizing approval of expenditure of motor fuel tax funds for making improvements to the intersection of Indiana Avenue at Illinois Route 1, Crete Monee Road at Illinois Route 1, Laraway Road at US 45, and Brandon Road at US 6, and 111th Street at Illinois 59, Route 59, in County Board Districts 1, 2, 5, 6, and 11, in the amount of $5,000 from motor fuel tax funds, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Gould. Any questions? Previous roll call by Ms. McDermott, second by Ms. Trainier. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Resolution 13126, a resolution authorizing approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the Will County and the Metropolitan Agency for Planning for completion of the 2040 Will County Transportation Plan to produce a long-range transportation plan for the entirety of the County of Will and County Board Districts 1 through 13, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Ferry. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Goodson, second by Ms. Hart. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Resolution 13-127 is a resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement between the County of Will and the New Lenox Township Road District for improvements of Laraway Road at Spencer Road intersection in County Board District 12. I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Balich. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Frizzalone, second by Ms. Collins. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Resolution 13-128 is a resolution authorizing approval of professional services agreement for design engineering services Phase 2 with ESI Consultants for structure and other work on Laraway Road over West Fork, East Branch of Hickory Creek in County Board District 2, using the county's allotment of bond funds in the amount of $30,000, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Izzo. Questions? Previous roll call by Ms. Goodson, second by Ms. Collins. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
The next six resolutions are for right-of-way work. Resolution 13-129 is a resolution for the approval of professional service agreement for right-of-way acquisition services appraisals with Hampton, Lenzini, and Renwick for several parcels along Bell Road, County Highway 16 at the intersection of 143rd Street and County Board District 7, using our bond funds, ABC bond funds, or RTA tax funds in the amount of $103,100, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Ms. Trenier. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Hart, second by Mr. Grossi. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried. Yes. Abstain on that one. Thank you, Mr. Izzo.
Resolution 13-130 is a resolution authorizing approval of professional services agreement for right-of-way acquisitions to review appraisals with Civil Tech Engineering for several parcels along Bell Road at the intersection of 143rd Street and County Board District 7, using the county bond funds and or RTA tax funds in the amount of $75,600, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Frizzalone. Any questions? Previous roll call by Mr. Ballage, second by Ms. Trenier. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, abstain. Want to abstain on all these? No. Okay. You let me know when you want back on the roll call. Thank you.
Resolution 13-131 is a resolution authorizing approval of professional service agreement for right-of-way acquisition services negotiations with Swanson and Brown Limited for property along Bell Road at the intersection of 143rd Street and County Board District 7, using the county's allotment of bond funds ABC or road or RTA tax funds in the amount of $100,375, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Ms. Zagrossi. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Babbage, second by Mr. Harris. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion carried. Mr. Izzo, abstain? Yes. Oh, you're a yes on that one? Okay, thank you.
Resolution 13-132 is a resolution authorizing approval of professional services agreement for right-of-way acquisition services appraisals with Civil Tech Engineering for several parcels along the property of Laraway Road, County Highway 74, at the intersection of Cedar Road, County Highway 4, in County Board District 12, using the county's allotment of Series A, B, C, or road bond funds or RTA tax funds in the amount of $22,200, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Bible. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Goodson, second by Ms. Freitag. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Resolution 13-133 is a resolution authorizing approval of professional service of right-of-way service acquisition services review of appraisals with Hampton, Lenzini, and Renwick for several parcels along Laraway Road at the intersection of Cedar Road and County Board District 12, using the county allotment Series ABC road bond funds or RTA tax funds in the amount of $8,000, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Ms. Rice. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Harris, second by Mr. Babbage. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried. You're abstaining on this one? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, Resolution 13-134 is a resolution authorizing approval of professional service agreement for right-of-way acquisition services negotiations with Santa Cruz Associates for property along Laraway Road at the intersection of Cedar Road and County Board District 12, using our road bond funds or RTA tax funds in the amount of $22,000, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Mr. Ferry. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Gould, second by Mr. Frizzalone. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, yes.
The next two are variances, and I want to call your attention to the amended version, which is on your desk in front of you today. for the next two. Resolution 13-135 is a resolution granting a variance for improvements to 143rd Street, County Highway 37 for a Greek Orthodox Church of the Assumption of the Virgin Mary, County Highway District 7, and I so move. As amended.
Moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Ms. McDermott. Any questions? Any questions? Previous roll call by Ms. Trenier, second by Mr. Ferry. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Okay, lastly, Resolution 13-136 is a resolution granting a variance for future environmental on Center Road in County Highway Board, or County Board District, District 2, and I so move as amended, and it's on your desk.
So moved by Mr. Adamick, second by Ms. Winfrey. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Goodson, second by Mr. Gould. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion has carried.
Well, that's it. You can take the oxygen off. Our next Public Works and Transportation Committee is scheduled for June 4th at 8:30. We wish all of you to have a happy Memorial Day. Be careful on our roadways. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Wally. Next, we move on to the Judicial Committee. Mr. Bible, Chairman.
Good morning, Mr. Executive, Madam Clerk, and my fellow board members. In stark contrast to the prolific Public Works Committee, Judicial is going to be a little bit more brief. Our report entails the following, sir, that we, in the last meeting, had a thumbnail report on the status of our administrative adjudication system, which, as I think all know, was established back in August of 2011. And this will be a prelude to what we will have as initiate as a series of hearings reviewing our enforcement proceedings, beginning with Chapter 43 of the Will County Ordinances, and which establish the administrative adjudication system. And we will pay particular attention to the due process safeguards and discretionary powers of the county agencies. We will most likely begin by asking or inviting land use to come to our next meeting, which will be held on June the 6th. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Reed. Moving on.
June 4th? June 4th. I am sorry, June 4th. I stand corrected.
Moving on to Public Health and Safety Committee, Mr. Babbage, Chairman.
Good morning, Mr. County Executive.
Good morning,
fellow
Joe.
county board members. Today I have one report to be placed on file, which is the Will County Regional Office of Education Quarterly Report. This is from January through March 2013. This was submitted by Sean Walsh, Regional Superintendent, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Babbage, second by Mr. Ferry. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
We're going to 13-137, resolution appropriating grant funds in the Health Department budget from Illinois Department of Public Health for emergency preparedness and response. This is to the tune of $33,796, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Babbage, second by Mr. Wilhelmy. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Winfrey, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
Our second resolution is 13-138, resolution appropriating grant funds in the coroner's budget to the tune of $4,625. This is in regards to vital records, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Babbage, second by Mr. Bible. Any questions? Previous roll by Ms. Grossi, second by Ms. Rice. All in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion is carried.
That concludes our report, and our next meeting will be June 13th at 8:30 a.m.
Thank you very much, Joe. Question. Liz, Ms. Collins?
Yes, I'm on the Public Health and Safety Committee also, and I figured this might be a good time to make a couple of statements. One of them is I would like to publicly and personally thank Angelina Jolie for coming forward with her BRCA1 diagnosis. It was exactly a year ago today that I got a call from my daughter saying that she was positive for breast cancer, and going forward with her treatment, she was tested genetically, and as it turns out, my second daughter also is BRCA1 positive, and there's not a lot of information out there on this. Needless to say, it's been a roller coaster ride for the last year, but I'm proud to say that I do have one survivor and one previvor. And my second comment is I have the honor and pleasure of being a celebrity ice cream scooper over at Sunny Hill Nursing Home this week. And that was the first time I had ever been there, and I really didn't know what to expect going over to a county nursing home, just because I'm in the process of helping a friend of mine find nursing homes for her husband. So it's kind of a scary process. But the Sunny Hill Nursing Home was a pleasant surprise to me. I mean, it was a beautiful facility, and I think it's something that we in Will County should be very proud of. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for your comments, and I'm sure Karen Sobrero, our executive director, who puts her heart and soul in her staff and everybody else's to basically have one of the finest nursing homes in the state of Illinois. Thank you, Liz. Next, we move on to Insurance and Personnel Committee. Mr. Grossi, chairperson.
Mr. Executive and fellow board members, we did have a very extensive meeting in Insurance and Personnel this month. However, we do have no business to move forward at this time. Our next meeting is scheduled for June 11th at 9:30. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, Legislative and Policy Committee, Mr. Howard, chairman.
Good morning, Mr. Executive,
Good morning,
fellow board
Bob.
members, and Madam Clerk. I have one resolution before us this morning, 13-139 resolution in support of legislation regarding the concealed or otherwise carry of firearms, including reasonable provisions for the public health and safety. And I so move.
Moved by Mr. Howard, second by Mr. Ballage. Questions? Mr. Brooks.
I would like to be showed my vote as a president on today. I really don't have any comment about this issue, but I do like to be showed just as a president. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will also, Mr. Executive.
Well, then we'll take the roll. So, Mr. Adamick.
I do have some comments on this, and just something I think should be said. Regardless of how any of us feel on this, the passage or non-passage of this, if it's passed, the resolution does not give Will County residents to conceal carry. That authority rests with the state. So if this passes today, I just want to make sure that someone doesn't say, hey, the Will County Board passed it and we can conceal carry. So I think that needs to be said so someone doesn't get themselves in trouble. That authority really does rest with the state. So I just wanted to make that clear, because some people may be seeing this today and say, well, geez, all right, I got the right to conceal carry. But it doesn't.
Thank you, Wally. Diane?
Mr. Executive and board members, I think I've made my statements on this clear from the time that it first came up. Again, I do, as we all do, believe in our constitutional rights when it comes to the Second Amendment and your right to have a firearm and so forth, as protected by the Constitution. However, I will be voting no on this resolution moving forward, based on the fact that this is not an issue that belongs within the county's constraints at this time.
Thank you. Any other comments? Mr. Issel? We got to move you someplace. Ed Custis sabotaged that, I think. Mr. Mustis.
Yeah, I will also be supporting this resolution, in part based on the Supreme Court ruling that said this is a right under the Second Amendment, and that the state of Illinois needed to put their rules together to accomplish the concealed carry part of the Second Amendment, or upholding that part is a Second Amendment right. So this resolution basically, I think, says we support what the Supreme Court has already ruled on. And as usual, it's unfortunate that the state has such a difficult time putting rules together. And this is just encouraging the state to put the rules together so you're in compliance with the Supreme Court decision. So hopefully this would help spur our legislators to come up with the rules that everyone could live under. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor.
I also am going to support this legislation. I think a lot of times when we support legislation down in Springfield, we really want to take a look at the intent of that legislation because it's really hard to predict what they're going to say at the end of the day. However, I think the committee did a really good job of doing their research and outlining some of the variables that we want to see in this legislation. This isn't just supporting legislation. This is saying that there's some safety concerns. There's other issues that we really want to make sure that the state's taking a look at. And I want my hats off to the committee for the research and everything that they did in order to be able to put this together.
Thank you. Ms. Hart, are you?
Thank you. I was getting a little hyper up here, as we all know I can get. Okay. And Diane, I appreciate what you were saying about on the county level. My chairman, Howard, knows that I was not in favor at first of putting this onto the county because this is a state issue, but it becomes all of our issue, the Second Amendment. After talking with the NRA, our own county board member, Don Moran, and a few others, being that we are close right there into Cook County and how Will County is, our opinion does matter. And if this is going to make it that much closer to us getting this through before June 9th, because June 9th, people, it's all up. It's going to, all the rules are out the door. So let's get this controlled. Let's support the legislature of the NRA and the Rifle Association and send a message down to Springfield. We need to do this right now. So I really do hope that some of you that were on the fence comes over on the other side. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Oh, Mr. Howard?
I'd just like to mention there was a lot of work involved in this, providing this resolution with Mr. Balich and Mr. Moran. They spent umpteen hours on it. I mean, a lot of time developing this. And I also have to thank each and every committee member and board member for the patience through developing this resolution. So I think everyone here actually provided some form of input for it that was actually needed to actually provide this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Zagrosi? No. Mustis? Yes. Howard?
Yes.
Izzo?
Yes.
Rice? No. Harris?
No.
Trainier?
No.
Bible?
No.
Goodson?
Yes.
Freitag?
Yes.
Gould?
Yes.
Balich?
Yes.
Rizzalone?
Yes.
Winfrey?
No.
Adamick?
Yes.
Babich?
Yes.
Wilhelmy? Hart?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
McDermott?
Yes.
Weigel?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes.
Ferry?
Present.
And Burks.
Present.
Yes. 15 affirmative, 6 no, and 3 present.
15 affirmative, motion or resolution 13139 has passed. Mr. Howard?
Also, in the future, we're actually monitoring what's happening in Springfield and look forward to a fun, exciting agenda for the legislative committee and council committee as always. And our next meeting is scheduled for June 11th, 2013.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Okay, moving on to capital improvements. Ms. Winfrey, chairperson.
Executive,
Good
fellow
morning.
board
Denise.
members. Capital Improvements has one resolution this morning. It's number 13140, which authorizes the county executive to execute an agreement for payment of rent and indemnification for the office of the Will County Superintendent of Schools, and I so move.
Moved by Ms. Winfrey, second by Mr. Babbage. Any questions? Any questions? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Zegrossi? Yes. Mustis? Howard?
Yes.
Izzo? Yes. Rice? Yes. Harris?
Yes.
Trainier? Yes. Bible?
Yes.
Goodson? Yes. Freitag? Yes. Gould?
Yes.
Balich? Yes. Frizzalone? Yes. Winfrey?
Yes.
Adamick?
Yes.
Babbage? Wilhelmie? Hart? Yes. Mayor? McDermott? Yes. Weigel? Collins? Yes. Ferry?
Yes.
And Brooks?
Yes.
Thank you.
The Capital Improvements Committee will have a
Oh, wait a minute.
workshop.
Wait,
I'm
wait,
sorry.
wait.
24 affirmative.
24 affirmative, motion has carried. Continue, Ms. Winfrey.
Thank you. Capital Improvements will hold a workshop on May 21st and 22nd. That is to look at all properties for the county and to determine what things need to happen. So I'm encouraging everyone on the Capital Improvements Committee, especially new people, to be present so that we can do that work. Our next regular Capital Improvements meeting will be on June 4th at 10 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Denise. Moving on to the Executive Committee, Mr. Brooks, Chairman.
Good morning, Mr. Executive. Good morning, everyone.
Mr. Speaker.
I have 3 resolutions and 1 replacement. 13-141 is a resolution authorizing the county exec to execute a local agency agreement for federal participation construction of a sidewalk in the Fairmount Community Neighborhood, and that's now District 9. I move, so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Grossi. Any questions? Previous roll call by Mr. Adamick, second by Ms. Winfrey. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
13-142, resolution declaring sheriff seized vehicle surplus and authorizing disposal, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Ms. Trainier. Any questions? Previous roll by Mr. Adamick, second by Ms. Hart. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion is carried.
13-143, resolution authorizing the county exec to execute renewal of EDACS FX software agreement with Harris Corporation for county's radio system, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Gould. Any questions? Previous roll call by Ms. Freitag, second by Mr. Ferry. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
And finally, 13-144, replacement hires for Sunny Hill Nursing Home, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Adams. Any questions?
Previous.
Roll call by Mr. Babbage, second by Mr. Bible. Did you have a question, Ms. Bible? Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried.
Our next executive committee meeting is scheduled for June the 6th, 2013 at 9:30 a.m.
Thank you very much.
Ready for appointments by the county exec? You all have them, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Grossi. Any questions? Previous roll call by Ms. Winfrey, second by Ms. Trainier. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion has carried. Announcements by our county board speaker, Mr. Brooks.
Let me begin by saying that I certainly want to congratulate the chaplain that gave the opening prayer on this morning. My first time having an opportunity to meet him, but I did complain on the other side of the aisle to Chuck that I never got applause when I did the invocation. But I certainly want to congratulate. But thank you. 5 years. It's 5 years late, but thank you so much. I also want to congratulate all of the resolutions and those that received the award. It always gives me great pleasure to see those, particularly with the young men, the wrestling, the Boy Scouts. And what I really regret, Virginia Ferry couldn't be here to get that award on today, and I know she wasn't feeling well, but I'm just happy and want to congratulate all the honorary resolutions on today. Also want to congratulate the Fairmount community. That district used to be a part of District 8, my colleague Denise Winfrey and I. That sidewalk that's beginning, Steve told me the bidding's going to begin in June. Denise and I went to a lot of meetings at land use in Fairmount and all over the area to see that come to pass. And I'm so glad to see that come to pass and great that Fairmount community that's now District 9. And Steve, when that Fairmount sidewalk is laid, let me know so I can walk down the street. All right? Thank you so much. I want my handprint. There's an idea. I'm glad I thought of that, Dave. Thanks. Also, Liz Collins commented about the Sunny Hill Nursing Home, and I and you, Larry, were also celebrity scoopers. But when I arrived on, I don't remember, maybe Tuesday, I heard all about Liz dancing with the hulas, and so they were very impressed with the moves over there. And I heard all about it when I arrived. But as Larry has said earlier, Karen's doing a wonderful job, and everybody, please stop by Sunny Hill and see the wonderful work that's going on. Lastly, there is a leadership meeting afterwards. Thank you so much. Have a happy Memorial and a safe Memorial Day holiday.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brooks. Next, we move on to Democratic Caucus Chair, Ms. Segrossi.
Thank you. You know, today it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day out after our meeting, and when you have an opportunity to go out and certainly enjoy the sunshine. It's been a long time in coming, guys, so definitely looking forward to putting the shades on and get out where we can. I, too, want to specifically recognize our two youth honorees today. How proud their parents must be of their accomplishments. These are our future leaders, and certainly it shows that everything, the work that's gone in by their parents, by the school systems, their upbringing, their morals, their values, it shows. So, again, I applaud them for their efforts, their dedication to what they've accomplished. So, everyone, go have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you, Diane. Next, we move on to the Republican Caucus Chair, Mr. Mustis.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Jim.
This will be a good week to plant the flowers. By the way, just thought I'd point it out. When do we get the corn and beans in, Larry? Soon? Yeah.
Done with the corn.
You're done with them. Okay. See, it's a good time to get things planted. We have the opportunity to have a little shorter meeting today. So all I want to say is baseball teams aren't doing so well. Bulls are gone. Go Hawks.
Yeah.
And everyone have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. With that, I also wish everybody have a very nice Memorial Day, and let's not forget the reason we have that Memorial Day, and participate maybe in some of the programs that are going on at the different cemeteries. Abraham Lincoln puts on an unbelievable program. So with that, seeing there's no further business, we will stand adjourned until our next meeting on Thursday, June 20th, 2013.
You know what I